What's up, guys, and welcome to the weekly Q&A. Real quick before questions, we need to send a shout out and a thank you to Dick McCann, who just joined our Patreon at the Jedi Council level, which is insanely generous. So thank you so much for your support. You have no idea how much that means to us.
Our first question comes from Bayou Jesse, who asks why Kylo waited a year to put his helmet back on.
So this was something that in the lead up to the movie, I think JJ was saying like, oh, there's a reason he's doing it. And yeah, they never really got into it. So I really just have to speculate. And my guess is that it's because Palpatine told him to kill Rey. And so he's over here thinking like, oh man, if I have to do this, it's going to make me sad. So I genuinely think he probably put it on so that he could like hide his emotions from Rey. So when he's like, Palpatine wants me to kill you, he's like crying.
That's definitely one thought. I don't really know. I mean, I guess I think of it more as like he had to find the Wayfinder and do all the stuff, like find Exegol, and until then he didn't feel worthy of like kind of like reinventing himself quite yet. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. I mean, they don't go into it. They said they would and they didn't. So I think that the big thing that changed for him was that he's like now on a mission and he knows he's going to come into contact with Rey. I just think he's trying to hide his emotions from Rey.
Or also from like the rest of the First Order too. Like he just, once he comes back from Exegol and learns about the Final Order and all of that, like some of them are pretty uneasy about trusting the like Sith cultists and all that, and he just wants to look intimidating again and be like, my word is final.
It's like the only thing they say about it is just Hux going like, the mask, I like it, well done. I do. They built it up beforehand to mean something, and then I feel like it didn't really. I think they just like the mask because it looks cool, and it does.
Yeah. And you get the whole red cracks meaning behind it as cracked personality, but wanting to show it. It's that Japanese art.
The Kintsugi thing, yeah.
Yeah. Sooner Thrawn wants to know if we could see Jacen in the rumored Rebels sequel series. So Jacen Syndulla.
Yeah.
Our little green friend.
He's just got green hair. He's not totally green. Which is weird, though, that he would inherit his mother's skin and his hair only. Strange. I kind of think so. I think the show's probably going to be more about Ahsoka and Sabine. I don't know that Hera is going to go off on this mission with them because, like, she does have a newish child. Mm-hmm. You'd think that maybe she'd want to settle down with him, but maybe they bring him along. I don't know.
I think he could be in it. I don't know that he would have a main role, because if we do get this series and we do see Jacen grown up a little bit, we could then see him in other stuff like comics and books. There would be, a chance for another young adult novel about him.
Yeah.
When he grows up.
People always ask, like, do you think Jacen or Baby Yoda are going to wind up at Luke's training academy? And I'm like, why do you want that? Like, that's just a death sentence.
Yeah, they all die.
So I don't think he's going to wind up there. And I definitely don't think Baby Yoda will. So, yeah, I think that what you said is probably correct. If he's in it at all, it'll be pretty limited. I feel like they would have to give us... They don't have to give us anything, but like I'd want just a little update on how little Jacen's doing.
And, it depends on how much time has passed and how old he is. Like, I don't want whiny teenage Jacen.
Terrible twos Jacen. I don't know. We keep talking about how awful it would be to have a very strong Force-sensitive toddler, and it would be fun to see.
Yeah. Do we know that he's Force-sensitive?
Well, they hinted at it. I mean, they said that he was a lot like his father. That's about all they say as
wink,
Star Wars.
wink.
Yeah, as Star Wars Rebels ends.
William Trussell asks if the Nightsisters could come back after the fall of the Empire because we've seen at least 3 survivors so far.
I think that whenever, for the most part, when Star Wars does something like wipe out a species, it doesn't happen completely. There's almost always hope for them to return. We saw it with the Lasat. Like, Zeb thought that all of his people were dead, and they had, like, their own secret planet. And then it happened with Geonosis, but then, like, one queen egg survived. But then that one did get destroyed in the Darth Vader comic. But I think that usually there is hope for a return. They very rarely leave anything just completely hopeless. So, yeah, I think that there is potential for the Nightsisters to come back and maybe come back a little nicer. I mean, Marin's a pretty nice person. I thought she was awesome in the game, so maybe she could, like...
She's in Fallen Order.
Yeah, she could start a new dawn for the Nightsisters.
Was she just there alone?
Yeah, except for Talon. Is it Talon or Terran? Malicos.
The guy.
Yeah, so he was there kind of like twisting her mind and her memories and saying like, oh, the Jedi killed the Nightsisters when it was Grievous. So she had him, she had the Night Brothers, but she didn't have any of her actual family.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to see the Nightsisters come back, and with the Nightsister magic, I feel like anything could happen.
Yeah, I want them to be a little nicer.
You want them to be on the good guy side?
Yeah, they could be the Day Sisters now. The Light Sisters.
Mr. J.D. Rice wants to know if Grievous would have become an Imperial Inquisitor if he hadn't been killed. I would expect that he would have been given a higher rank somehow than just another Inquisitor.
I don't think he would have been allowed to live.
No?
No, he was like the main Separatist general. I think that everyone would have expected like Palpatine to have him executed if he showed up in like a major role. Like, I think he would have been all for it because he wants to continue hunting Jedi. He loves killing Jedi. It's his favorite. But if Palpatine were like, no, he's cool now and he's on our side, like, I don't think anyone would have bought that.
Well, I mean, he needs to add more to his collection.
Yeah, but I don't think he would have been allowed to be an Inquisitor.
Okay.
I don't think he's subtle enough. Like, they could have slapped a bunch of, like, black leather on him like the Inquisitors wear, but it's like, hey, that guy's got 4 arms and he coughs a lot. And, like, it's not very secretive.
Michael Anderson asks if we're going to do a meetup in Atlanta for the live Schmodown match that he's got coming up.
That's why we threw the belt out, just to remind everyone, February 29th, we're going to be at the Schmodown live event. They came to Atlanta, finally. So I actually get to, like, sleep in my own bed after a Schmodown match. It's going to be great.
Yay!
But yeah, there are a couple chances to hang out with us at that if you're going to come. The first one is at 5:30. I'll put a link in the description, but there is a special ticket or add-on to your ticket if you've already bought one, that there's going to be like a Schmodown meet and greet where you guys can hang out with us, ask us questions, basically keep me calm before the show, honestly, like distract me from all of my nerves. But yeah, we can do all of that before the match, and then we're going to be around after the match as well. But I'll put a link in the description if you want to do that kind of like exclusive Schmodown hangout with us.
Yeah, and if you've never seen or been to any of the live Schmodowns, I would definitely check them out on their YouTube channel. They're a ton of fun. He's going to be competing for the first time, not just Star Wars, but in the Inner Geekdom category, which is Star Wars, Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings, Marvel, DC.
I had to watch Star Trek movies, guys.
Yeah.
Star Trek.
Yeah.
That's it for patron questions. If you're a patron and you didn't see your question answered here, just head over to Patreon where we left you a written response. If you're not a patron, you can learn more by following the link in the description. Just $1 a month will get you access to extra Star Wars Explained content like audio commentaries for the films, and we're doing audio commentaries for the Clone Wars right now, and this week's episode is Monster, which is one of my favorite ones, so I'm pretty excited. We're probably going to go record it like right after we do this, but yeah, that's all available right now if you're interested.
On to YouTube questions. Jacob the Hodge asks if Obi-Wan was using Force healing when he touched Luke's head in A New Hope. So when he gets knocked out and they're in the Junlin Wastes.
Look at you with the trivia. They're not to be traveled lightly.
I'll just be taking this. I like to call this Force smelling salts.
Yeah. I mean,
Just
honestly.
like a little...
Just like, it's a gentler slap in the face.
Yeah.
See, I always kind of read it as just he was, like, force checking for a pulse. Like, it's something similar, but it is listed on Wikipedia as an example of force heals, so I guess that he was. I don't think it was, like, a very grievous injury that he had. He was probably just knocked out, so maybe all Obi-Wan did was, like, remove a slight concussion.
Yeah.
Probably didn't take much out of him.
Yeah. Randy Young wants to know what we think will happen to First Order collaborators like DJ and Nina.
Probably nothing, honestly.
Yeah, I see them just kind of going about their lives, doing shady stuff.
Well, in Last Shot, I think it's talked about how Mon Mothma basically did a blanket pardon for probably too many war criminals, and I think it was just a way to let's move on. And I don't think people are going to go hunting for DJ and hunting for Nina. That's a very personal vendetta against, Finn and Rose might do that.
Yeah.
Niku might go hunting after Nina, but I can't imagine him seeking revenge or anything.
No. Yeah, I mean, there's tons of people out in the galaxy that are just like them.
I'm sure that some of the bigger ones hopefully get, we'll just say, we'll call it karma. I'm sure that these people are going to get what's coming to them.
Cryptic Element asks if there could be New Republic survivors hiding out somewhere after the destruction of Hosnian Prime. Sure.
I think almost definitely.
I mean, they couldn't all have been home that day.
Right. I mean, it's even been shown in Star Wars Resistance that Kaz's father survived, and he was the Hosnian Prime senator, which I still think is awfully convenient. They never addressed that again, but I was like, oh, for sure he's a First Order collaborator.
Yeah.
And they never went into it. Maybe they were going to. I don't know. But that feels shady to me.
Yeah, I have to imagine senators, politicians and stuff, there has to be some people left to help create the New Republic. I hope
the newest republic.
The newest republic, yeah. You get the Final Order, you get the newest republic.
Republic 3.0.
Yeah. I have to imagine there's plenty of people around that just weren't on the planet at the time that are going to help rebuild the government.
I think for now that's just what we have to assume. I think that the New Republic didn't fully die. It was gone for a year, and then they're just going to be yeah, we're just going to keep calling it the New Republic and maybe pretend all that mess with the First Order didn't happen.
Make Wicket a senator.
I hope he is already.
Maybe. I mean, we know he's alive, and he has a son. Bring him back. Riley18 wants to know if Luke ever went to Bogano or Zepho while he was searching for Jedi stuff. Or Sith stuff. Force-sensitive stuff. These are planets from Fallen Order.
Bogano I'm skeptical about because that one seemed to be a little more secretive. Only a handful of people knew about it. But Zepho, the Empire knew about it, and they were raiding it. And yeah, I think that Luke probably would have heard about that, and I could see him exploring that.
Yeah, it sounds like he did quite a bit of exploring over the years that he had before he started the temple, so I don't imagine why.
But he did seem like he was focusing... Well, you know what? I was going to say it seems like he was focusing strictly on Jedi stuff, but that's not true. in the Legends of Luke Skywalker book, he's looking at a lot of different ways of interpreting the Force, and the Zepho were their own thing. So yeah, I could see him hearing about the Zepho and being like, let me go check that one out too.
Yeah. I don't know, would you have wanted a scene like proving that he had been there at some point? Like, he was on Pilio when the Battlefront 2 campaign, and we got to see him actually on the planet and play as him. Would you have wanted proof that he had been there?
At some point, like maybe they could bring it up in the comic, or they could even mention it in the Rise of Kylo Ren comic, because they've kind of shown some of his explorations. I don't know, like, if they were to ever confirm it, I'd like to see it, I guess, instead of just, like, get a hint about it.
Nicholas Brandon asks why Palpatine never tried to turn his son to the dark side. So many Palpatine questions, so little answers.
I am going to assume that his son wasn't Force sensitive. I think that if that were the case, then Palpatine just would have been like, be gone with you. Like, he probably wanted a legacy, didn't have one, and then he finds out, oh, he had a granddaughter. Maybe she's Force sensitive. Let's go check that out. So that's going to be my guess. I don't know how he would have let his son, like, get away from him. I don't know. That'll be interesting to explore whenever we do, if we do.
Yeah, I mean, the idea of him having a son, I don't know. Like, maybe he didn't know he had a son?
I guess that's possible. That just seems like adding more convolution to an already convoluted story.
Yeah. Honestly, everything about Palpatine coming back, having kids, having grandkids, like, it's
a lot.
It's a lot, and it's all a mystery, and maybe we'll hear more about it, and maybe we never will.
I think we probably will. I kind of hope they give it time to breathe. Like, if you give it enough time, I think I'll be even more excited to learn some of this stuff if it's like 5 years down the line, instead of like, if they announced it tomorrow, I'd be like, okay, fine.
Yeah. I'm really not into all the people that are so concerned about the idea of Palpatine procreating, like the actual act.
Yeah.
Like, give it up. Just it happened. The end.
That's all the time we have for questions today. If you want to leave a question for next week's video, just put it in the comments below. And remember, there's a link in the description to come hang out with us at the Atlanta Schmodown event. We hope to see you there. If you haven't already, please like this video, subscribe to the channel.
Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook.
And as always, thanks for watching, and may the Force be with you.